Right. And we are live. What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard Sports Media coming at you with a G Day recap. I will recap A Day for Alabama, by the way. Not sure if I'll go live, but want to get out as much spring game content as possible this off season because that's what we talk is college football, and it can be dead during the off season sometimes, but we need to try to find ways to make it come alive, and that's what we're going to do. So we want to recap Georgia G Day as the red team got a 31-26 victory over the black team. Did very, very well. You would expect that maybe for Georgia, maybe it could have been a little bit low scoring, a little bit more low scoring. Carson Beck led the red team, first team offense out there with Kendall Milton, Braxton Hicks, Dominic Lovett, Ladd McConkey, Marcus Rosemy, Arian Smith, Brock Bowers was out there. You had guys on the offensive line, Austin Blask, Ernest Green, Amarius Mims, Xavier Truss, Cedric Van Pran, who comes back as a senior. So Carson Beck leading the Georgia Red team out to victory today, and they get the win 31-26. What I take away from it, I did not see it live. I had to go back and see highlights. But what I was watching was the calmness of Carson Beck in the pocket. Even with pressure in his face, he looks really, really good. It looks like he could be the starter for the Georgia Dogs this upcoming season, possibly. And let's just cut to the chase, folks. That Georgia is looking for a three-peat. Kirby Smart is a motivator. He's an elite head coach. God, it hurts to say that. I don't know why. I don't understand I don't even have hatred. I just have a distaste for Kirby Smart because if anyone's taken over Alabama or taken the place of Alabama when Saban's gone, it's Kirby Smart. So that's upcoming. But, he does have a really good team. He recruits well. He's got great leaders. He's got a great coaching staff overall. And what's up, Nate? So when you look at this game today, and I'm fixing to share screen in a second, but you had the black team was just kicking field goals. For the most 14-3 red at the end of the first quarter. Ladd McConkey had a 37-yard connection to put the red team in the red zone. And then there was a touchdown run for Savon Clark for 9 yards after Beck remained perfect on the day, completing 3 more passes for 61 yards to set up a 9-yard touchdown run for Savon Clark. I get all this, by the way, from we got Ugga Boy. Oh, yeah. I'm dropping the link. But I get all this from Dog Nation, all the updates. So we can screen share that and we can look at it. But yeah, I mean, from what I saw in the highlights, I didn't watch it live. Congratulations to Georgia for having their spring game nationally televised on ESPN1. That's a huge accomplishment. But But you had Brock Vandergriff and Carson Beck having touchdown drives out there. Carson Beck hit Arian Smith for 6 yards. Brock Vandergriff with the black team had a scoring drive that ended with a 29-yard touchdown pass to Jackson Meeks. And got pushed in by teammates to make it 21-10 red. So there was definitely a lot that went on, and I need some help here. So, we lost him. We lost Uggo Boy. But I need some help covering this, man, because I'm going to be honest. I mean, I think it's fair to recap this game, but if I'm being completely honest, I didn't really watch all of it. So, what'd you see out there, Uggo Boy? And we lost him again. Damn. The hell's going on here? Anyway.
Hello, can you hear me, Ballard?
You there?
Hey, can you hear me, Ballard?
Yeah, what's up, bud?
Hey, man, what's up? I just saw you on here, and I was like, hey, man, I got to check you out. So, man, there is no doubt that Carson is the corner. The accuracy, man, is there.
Yeah.
Brock Vandergriff, dude, is so far behind. Like, I'll be honest with you, I could be wrong, but Georgia fans may disagree with me. But I actually thought Gunnar Stockton looked a little better than Brock Vandergriff, if you really want me to be honest. But I could be completely wrong, but this is Carson Beck's job for sure.
Okay, so I was just fixing to ask you about Carson Beck because obviously it's next man up. It seems like Georgia, and Stetson Bennett's gone. So it seems like it's Beck's job to lose.
Yeah, he just his accuracy, dude. He lit it up today. He actually was on point. I mean, I get it. It's just scrimmage. But you could tell he got a lot better, especially since last year. And I think that in-game experience, obviously, is what pushed him a lot more versus the other quarterbacks. I get that, but at the end of the day, Carson Beck, man, just looks so much better. You can tell there's a huge separation. I mean, the highlights don't lie. It's not that Georgia didn't do this or that. I mean, to be honest with you, the only reason why Carson Beck really didn't have better numbers in the second half was because Kirby was all, the defense about and all. Thing is Georgia just that good on offense? I mean, because you think Mike Bobo was with Mark Richt, back in the day. I mean, Georgia was scoring 30, 40 points.
Yeah.
And Georgia, they're just wide open. Well, they were saying that all last year too. Maybe Georgia's just that good, and that's where the separation comes, into play. The accuracy is what I look at between Carson Beck and Brock Vandergriff. I think that Brock will be something good for Georgia in another year or two when Beck's out of the picture. And then, of course, it will be a race if Gunnar Stockton and them are still there. But as of right now, no, there's a reason why Carson Beck rated his time at Georgia for the last 2 to 3 years. It's paying off.
Makes sense to me. So tell me, though, I heard some big things about Bear Alexander and the defense. What'd you see?
Well, there will be no Bear Alexander in Athens. Apparently, which is hit dogs because he's transferring. The portal opened today, and well, he was nowhere to be found as expected. I guess if you hit the transfer portal, it's kind of like, well, why am I sticking around? So that's kind of a big hit, a good punch to the gut, for Georgia. But at the end of the day, we still have some other guys. Tyke Smith looked good. Some other dogs stepping up. And don't forget, we still have Javon Bullard. He might have got arrested last year, but man, he was for about halfway. I would say about 2 quarters of last year, he was really ripping it on defense, intercepting the balls, getting after it, hitting the guys. He looked really good today as well. So I think Georgia got their answer, when it comes to the quarterback. But going on defense,
Yeah.
I think that defense is only going to get bigger and better. What's up, Nate?
Yeah.
What's up?
So, what's up, Nate? So I'll say this about the defense. Dog Nation put this out. I'm just kind of browsing their website, and we'll let Ugga Boy come back in if he can. But the defensive line, Kirby Smart said Georgia might have to scheme some pressure as the first team defensive line didn't appear to have much bite. Very quiet day for Jamon Dumas Johnson by his standards. Last year's team leader didn't make an impact as his first team defense was often getting pushed around. So the first team defense, obviously, at least from what we're reading, did not look the part. Second team, I guess, was okay. So here's the thing. The question is this a national title team yet again in Athens, Georgia?
Maybe.
That's the big question we got to ask, because 31-26 in a spring game, you could say the defense has struggled, or you could say the offense has looked the part. I think there was a pick six in there somewhere, but I don't know. I think Kirby Smart can do what it takes to 3P. I think he can, build the team up, get the roster, and get everybody settled in. I think that's possible, but I want to hear from Georgia fans or anybody who watched this. You don't have to be a Georgia fan. Did Georgia look ready for another national title?
I mean,
did you watch it, Nate?
I heard it through Lou. Basically, I watched it. So I didn't really watch that well. So I basically heard it play by play, but I didn't really watch it. I should have, but I did watch the. It's kind of weird though. I did spy on the Buckeyes. I did spy on them, which means I watched it. So.
Well, the secondary here says Javon Bullard was on the spot for plays early and often, and Tyke Smith had the first turnover of the game when he cut under a receiver to intercept a Vandegrift pass. Joenel Aguero showed some big-time open field tackling ability, standing out among freshman defenders.
See, I kind of feel bad. Well, I mean, it's normal in college football. I kind of feel bad where, like former 5-stars that don't live up to the hype. I feel bad for them, but I mean, to be real, if you don't live up to the hype, you're basically a bust. So,
yeah,
and that's saying.
Well, here's the thing. I do not want to. I don't want anybody out there, and I can't tell anybody what to do, but I hope people would at least consider this. Don't base a player or a team on a spring game. A spring game is basically, this is what we've done so far this offseason. This is a chance to show the world what we have done, and it's an opportunity for the coaches and the players and the whole team to see where can I improve and get better.
And basically, spring games are basically, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be good. It's just going to be, some errors, some pretty cool passes or whatever runs. It's basically a glimpse of football that you want to see and stuff, and basically want to see your team. And, I mean, like you said, it's basically what you said. So,
yeah.
I mean, I get it. I know Lou does this, but he's a king of all trolls. I get it in a fun way. But yeah, I'm not, I actually, um, I'm kind of concerned for the quarterback room for Michigan. I told this to Lou. I don't know if he saw it or not in the comment section, but there's no one really good behind JJ McCarthy, and maybe you could put Jack Tuttle, the transfer from Indiana, but he's not really that really good. But he's the only one we got that has experience. But
Yeah.
like I said, I'm just saying that basically Michigan doesn't have a, like how Safe has like a lot of 5 stars at quarterbacks, running backs, and that's what gets you into Ohio State, or that's what gets you. It gets you like from the last 2 years. Now I'm trying to flex or anything, but I'm just telling the truth. Ohio State, man. Your talent, yes, you have talent, but you haven't beaten the Wolverines since 2 years ago. Well, I don't know if it's 2 years ago, but like since. But you do have some talent, but the talent that you haven't experienced. I've been saying this last year. They haven't experienced a win over the Wolverines. And I'm not saying they will or won't. I'm saying in general, they haven't experienced the win and how to win over the Wolverines. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Lost service.
You're good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my dinner's ready, but real quick before I get off here, Ugga Boy, your overall thoughts on Georgia today?
Well, I was listening to some of the stuff you said about the Dumas Johnson guy. Honestly, I'm not saying and making excuses, but honestly, I think sometimes we get caught up on big name players. He did seem non-existing today, right? I'm not saying that and making excuses. Oh, he sat out. That's not what I'm saying. I just feel like, look, it's just spring ball. We know what the dude can do. I'm not saying he's, one of the best player on the team or whatever, but it just seems like there is some players that we do. It's like, hey man, where are they at? We get caught up and we're like, dang, where are they at? If that makes sense. But the interceptions, going back to it, that wasn't Carson Beck's doing. That's the knuckleheads behind him, right? This was what Carson Beck was doing 2 years ago. Development, I think that's what I was trying to come across a while ago about Brock Vandagriff. I mean, it's hard to say. It's interesting that you bring up the score. Also, I did catch that part. But if you look at the last 2 national championship runs that Georgia had, they were very, very similar, very, very identical. I think Kirby somehow, some way finds it where he wants that, I guess, a competition level where they are that close. I don't know.
Because they want to test themselves.
Look, man, I remember in 2012, my brother's Alabama fan, so I went to the A-Day game with him, okay? Yes, I have been to an Alabama spring game. And I remember sitting in the stands and me and my brother was like, okay, what is Alabama going to do, right? We were basing it off of what we saw. And I was like, they're going to go 11-1. My brother's like, okay, I think 12-0. Well, Alabama that year, I think miraculously did go 12-0 or something like that. Well, it's really hard to go off of spring, right? That's just all fun and, about the guessing and all that. But, you could take a team that may look outstanding and, man, literally outstanding. And they may stink. And I remember a couple years back when y'all were, winning the national championships almost every year, you could go back and you look at Alabama's spring game, dude, and the dude couldn't probably kick more than 30 yards, like on a punt.
Oh, of course.
It's you know what I'm talking about because you probably seen it. You know what I'm talking about. So, because sometimes I do watch these spring games from other teams and stuff, and it's really hard to go off of. All I know is that Georgia, I still think we're going to be saying the same thing that we said last year about this Georgia team moving forward, no matter who is playing and whatnot. Georgia, because of that Oklahoma being taken off the schedule, you start off with Tennessee, Martin, Ball State, and the list goes on. That's a lot of cupcakes, okay? A lot. Let's just be honest. I still think you're going to have to find out till October. We're going to find out. I don't really think, and I hate
You're going to find out. You know when you'll find out is that Tennessee game. I bet you. Go to
Tennessee.
Knoxville.
Oh, yeah, because I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to go ahead and call it. Look, Joe Milton is not a bad quarterback for Tennessee. He did some stuff that really wowed me when he came in. The dude has an arm like he's just throwing a ball 10 yards. He could throw it 60, 70 yards. So don't sleep on Joe Milton in Tennessee. I just know this. It's going to be interesting to see what Alabama can do this year. What Georgia can Georgia keep it going? I think Georgia will be there, but I'm not saying we'll lose. Obviously, that's too far to say, but Georgia needs to be ready because that's where it's going to be challenging, just like it was last year. I think it's going to be a lot more challenging, right? Because this will be Carson Beck's first big challenge. What is he going to do? He may be elusive. He may just be who he is, right? For Georgia fans, including myself, that's great. But, when you get hit in the mouth, we're going to see if you can get back up. And there's a lot of quarterbacks. I think I heard this on ESPN radio. They were talking about this the other day. It's hard to believe that out of the entire SEC, what is it, like Spencer Rattler for South Carolina may be the only returning quarterback. At least I know in the East. Well, you got Joe Milton, but that started last year. I mean, that's hard to believe. And you would think that, oh gosh, South Carolina may do something. Man, I'm just not a big believer in Spencer Rattler.
I'm not going to deny that he has a little bit of talent. I mean, I'm watching South Carolina right now, and I don't even know if he's out there on the field. They don't have. I
don't think he's getting developed. Like, I don't think he's progressing. If that makes any sense.
You think that's on Shane Beamer?
Well, it falls somewhere, right? But the thing is, you also got, I will say this in fairness, South Carolina does not have nowhere near talent. I mean, Alabama's or even Georgia's best third stringer right now, okay? They're probably better than anybody on that South Carolina roster talent-wise. I mean, I'm just being honest. When you recruit in the top 10, people can say what they want. I used to say a long time ago it didn't matter. Well, not having a big head, but I think this is why Georgia has won something here lately, right? I think it speaks volumes, and I think it does matter. South Carolina, though,
I think so too.
They have been known to not do anything. What's that?
Yeah. I was saying we get South Carolina next year as our East opponent.
Oh, really?
Outside of Tennessee, but
not
this season, but 24.
Look, we all know this subject's going to come up, Ballard, and you're probably going to hit on this subject. And I'm very interested and I really won't. I'm not saying let's bash our SEC commission, Greg Sankey, okay? But I really want to know, why can Georgia not play not Tennessee, excuse me. Why can Georgia not play Oklahoma this year? I get the home and home, but you got to think about it. Maybe it wouldn't have worked out. But if Georgia was able to play Oklahoma just this one season, right? Keep in mind, they let the Texas and Alabama thing go. This was at the beginning of last year, and then they scrapped the Tennessee-Oklahoma game, because Oklahoma was supposed to come to Knoxville in 2024. I can understand that, to be honest with you, But I don't understand this year. So, and I bring this up because people are going to say Georgia has a cream puff of a schedule. Look, I will be the first Georgia fan to tell you I absolutely agree with you. But this is not Georgia's doing. Okay, keep that in mind. I want Greg Sankey to really answer this. Why did Georgia and why can Georgia not go to Norman, Oklahoma to play the Oklahoma Sooners?
It doesn't make sense to me either. Like you're gonna let Texas go to Alabama before they go to the SEC, but Georgia can't go to Norman before Oklahoma joins the SEC. I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem with having it happen.
Well, see, people were like, "Well,
I thought it would have been a good game."
Right. Well, see, people were like, "Well, Alabama and Texas played last year." Well, okay. Well, I understand that and the contract agreements, but this was before the season started. What makes it okay for this year? You see what I'm saying?